Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, Lady D, and this will be my weekly video that I do. So we had the eclipse that happened yesterday on Thursday for me. I didn't get to see it because it was very cloudy. Today is a much nicer day, and it's a shame that it didn't happen. The day was like today. I would have been able to see it, but over in Perth on the other side of Australia, they got a really good view of it because they were in clear sight. So, which was it was interesting, and we'll have to see what over the next 6 months what the eclipse is going to bring, because it takes up to 6 months for that transit to be fulfilled. So coming up right now, we've got the Mercury retrograde. It's happening today on Friday. So after that eclipse, we then head straight into a Mercury retrograde. It's in Taurus. It is close to Uranus, so this could bring about some unexpected news for people. That's with Uranus being there in Taurus. It can also be things that are not explained properly or explained well. I feel like two could come in as well. We've got, so with this retrograde, what's it going to bring out? So in Taurus, we are dealing with the environment. We are dealing with finances, because Tauruses, they like money. Whenever I know a few Tauruses, and they're very focused on money. And I mean, like how much they earn. They're good with like numbers. They tend to be good with numbers as well. They're a sign of like they like to overindulge too. They like to be comfortable. They like good food. It also can bring up self-worth, things about self-worth as well, because we are dealing with the second house, and that is earnings and self-worth. So what's it going to bring out with this Mercury in retrograde? I feel like people may bring up feelings of worried about life, not knowing what to expect, and uneasy feeling about yourself, or feeling unsafe could come up here. Push through feelings of self-doubt. So if you do have these feelings, just try and push through them. And I've got here, there could be some things with money here, money crashing, because when Mercury is going in retrograde, we are dealing with things not going to full speed or full potential. It's going backwards, so more introverted, going back. Got here transport not going the right way as well. People from the past can come in over these next 3 weeks. So this could be friends, it could be people acquaintances that you know. People from the past can definitely come back into play with the Mercury retrograde. That's coming up here. Time to finish what you have started. So as long as you this is a great time to finish things that have started. Starting things new is not the best time. I have started my podcast, and I was determined to get it done before the retrograde, and I got it done on Wednesday, so just before the eclipse. So was hitting the day before the eclipse. So that is up. I did share it on my YouTube channel in the community section, so just go there, and there's a link that will take you to my podcast. I spoke with another astrologer, and we spoke more in depth about the eclipse, and also about the retrograde that came up too, and also other aspects in astrology as well. So this also might be a week of losing patience with this as too. So I know with my friend here, we've got a cat, one of the cats here on the bed. I know I was losing patience with her this morning, waking me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. She's sleeping at the moment, but yeah, most times I do the video, she's there sleeping behind me. Also, we got here for the week ahead. You might feel like you're feeling off course. This is what this feeling of this Mercury retrograde and the other planets could be uneasy feeling with. We've got this Uranus in Taurus too, feeling like you're off course. Seeing the world via different eyes. We've got here, relationships are about to shock the world. I feel like this is dealing with partnerships. You might find partnerships with different countries partnering up, or even like celebrities. Like I feel like relationships that are going to come out during this retrograde, or even this week, it's going to shock people. It's coming up. It's got maintaining good relationships. It's going to be a good thing for this retrograde. Fake news is spread. I feel like Chinese whispers. It's going to be a lot of fake news that's going to come out over this next week. Now, questions about faith. This is the Saturn in Pisces. So we might see more things to do with like religion, people losing or questioning their faith, and in religion in general could be coming up here. Things not going according to plan. Perfect. Mercury retrograde. It's going up. It's like go with the flow. People will find themselves in sticky situations that are going to come up here because, as I said, we're going backwards. We're not going to its full speed, full potential. And we're all going, Mercury is how you think. There will be a lot of questions about the financial and also government plans as well. People are going to start pushing back and questioning these things that's coming up. Get patients to be tested. People not listening to one another. There's going to be miscommunication. People not listening. People not understanding each other is going to come out here. People wanting to be lazy because Tauruses, they like to, like to relax, like to be comfy. So I feel like people have this urge, this feeling to be a little bit lazy these next few weeks. And people feeling like a bit helpless, questioning self-worth as well. So you're having these uneasy feelings that are going to come up and are going to test you. It's going to come up here. Everyone wanting to get to the finish line. It's like I see a big finish line. Everybody's pushing their way to get to the end. And this is where we need to learn to be patient. So people are going to lose their patience and lose their frustrations, I feel like, coming up here. And I feel like with this eclipse we just had with the Pluto, it's going to trigger, I feel like it's triggering things to do with China, with war aspects too. That shadow did hit more the other side of Australia, and also where like Papua New Guinea was as well, so that in that Pacific, South Pacific area. So we could be coming up and seeing things, and I have a feeling to do with things like China, to do with those maybe those bases. We are seeing a lot of different like war aspects, but they're still kind of hidden in the news. They're not sort of in the relevant first. They're in the back parts of the news, but they're bubbling up to the surface. But I have a feeling things about with China here triggering off. I got here, house market may slow. So look back at projects that were not finished. Great time to do that. And a lot of reflection taking place about where you're going, where your self-worth is. So just pay attention to these things. It's just good to, and we forget, like, I knew there was that square that happened earlier this week that just went by with that Venus square Saturn. So when I went to work on the Tuesday, and I thought I was doing pretty well. I thought, nothing happened yet. I'm thinking, nothing's happened, so maybe it was fine for me. But then I ran and checked my car and I got a flat tire, so I'm like, damn it, now I have to get that tire fixed. So these little things can definitely happen, but Mercury retrograde does test patience. We also say just be careful of signing contracts. If you do need to sign a contract, make sure you read it through and make sure that is everything okay too, because things, as I said, might not go according to plan. Or before I knew a lot about astrology, I was just learning it. I actually signed a contract to start a new job, and I was in there for 8 years, that job. But there was a lot of hard times in that workplace. It wasn't easy for those. There was a time where parts of it where it was a little bit easy, but on a whole, that workplace was not easy. And had I known now, I would have perhaps tried to avoid signing it in the retrograde, but at the same time, obviously, with my path, and I was meant to go through that journey. That's the thing as well. You can't change your destiny. You can't change what you're meant to go through. But these are just going to stir up a bit of things coming up here. All right, let's look at some cards for the week and see where we're going. Okay. Which cards am I going to use? Okay. Let's have a look here and just see where I'm going. I feel like people really want to be stress-free this week, but there's going to be a lot of things that's happening in the news that are going to come up, that are going to trigger people. I feel like it's going to be a very triggering week for some people. I watch the news like a movie myself. I just see it because I know the transits, so I know what's coming. But I just see it, and I'm like, that's interesting. But people, I feel like, are going to be triggered by what's coming up this week in the news. So let's have a look here. Where's that cards? Okay, I feel like they could be trying to really be patient. Just try and be patient this week. I feel like there's going to be an aspect of trying to calm people down. there are going to be aspects of fighting or tug of war, like who's better than someone else. But at the same time, we're acknowledging our journey this week, where we're coming on, and I feel like we're acknowledging our spiritual journey as well as our purpose. We're looking at our self-worth, because we've got the node here in Taurus, we've got the sun, we have that Mercury, we've got Uranus, we've got a lot of Taurus energy. It's coming up here. So it is about building that self-worth, the value, being very determined, not giving up, but not walking away from things that are sort of emotional. It's about walking away from things that are going to cause emotion or stir up emotions here. But there's a lot of, I've got in the cards here, they're looking at their past. People are looking at their past, but they're looking at their purpose, their life purpose. They're questioning to do with their purpose. They're wanting their soul to evolve and to grow as well here. There is an aspect here too this week of people having to help out others financially or receiving financial help, but very, very particular in detail. There could be a lot of money coming up here, or making money to do a lot of detailing too, but not wanting to be spiteful. There's a thing here of not being spiteful. People who do the hard work will go further, will reap more of the rewards that are coming up through this retrograde. People who are the helpers, I feel like, are going to also be able to push through. And the people who want to just lay back, this is where the fighting may be coming in, but I do feel like tensions are going to come back up again here around the world. I've got a lot of cards that are representing, which I'll show you in a moment, fighting here. Okay. But I feel like there could be a lot of blossoming for past relationships, people from the past coming up. There's going to be a lot of, I feel like celebrations, or like a lot of celebrations or good things coming up from people from the past. People also looking at moving on to better things in their life as well. People don't want to be tricked. There's a lot of fighting. I've got here fighting. I've got fighting. So there's a lot of things that are coming up here to do with fighting. So I also feel like it could also be to do with manipulation, game playing as well. It's coming up here. I feel like that's more about different countries, different aspects, and different even like maybe company policies too. It's like people are also leading a trail here. But also I say don't forget where you came from, don't forget your home. There's a feeling, I said, like of wanting to be comfortable, but also being secure in your own life, in your own, I feel like also your own values too, and what led you here too. But it's also like we're preparing for a battle, we're preparing for war, we're preparing for certain battles that may come in. I feel like this could be a week where we might get a lot of anxiety, a lot of nervous energy that's coming up here too. I kind of feel like in people in general, in certain countries, they're not knowing where to go. But there's something about China that's going to come up this week. China, what their value is, what they're pushing, their world agenda, their partnerships. I feel like we're getting shocks here is the partnerships that China is going to be forming as well. It's like slowly things are being revealed here to us. It's like slowly but surely we are getting something that is being revealed. And opportunities are going to come in. And again, like if there's a new job that comes up, if it's something from a past workplace, that's good. Anything like it's a new workplace, try and hold off until the retrograde comes. Try and hold off on that. But we are moving into something that is better too. Whenever I see this card, it's like we're moving into something better as well. Or we're going back to something. Or even could be that you're going back to maybe an old relationship, but it's going to be better this time. That's coming up here. Okay, let's also do a channel. Anything else that people need to know with the cards is that I really feel strongly that the patience is going to be tested, and it might be like facing sort of people who are very intense. That's coming up, especially this card here reminds me of facing people who can be quite scary or quite intense, and you're having to face them and calm them down, calm their nerves, because I feel like there's going to be people who deal with things in just bring sort of patience, and people deal with things through a very calming way. are going to deal with things a bit better than people who can't do that too. But there is a lot of hard work here and preparing for things, like want to check things done, making sure it is done, but also preparing also for war. I feel like people are preparing for these things, or governments are preparing for this. We're looking at a larger scale as well, because that eclipse would have brought on some war-like energy because it was in Aries. So with that Pluto, could be about independence as well. That's coming up. It's a Pluto in Aquarius. But I also feel like the Saturn that's in Pisces is also putting things up. Like we just had in Australia where they wanted to make referrals for people who want to do certain like Botox or plastic surgeries, which is fine. But I feel like the more needs to be regulated with the people who do it. But this is the Saturn in Pisces, and we're going to have more of that coming up for this week too. That's ahead. Okay, I will just do a channel now and see. Here we go. You all are beautiful souls, and you all carry yourselves with grace. You all carry yourselves in with great grace in where you're heading and where you're going. But you all want to change your life. You are all wondering about your path and where it will lead you. And you cannot change where this path is going. As much as you want to change it, as much as you want things to be bigger, better, and brighter, you're on this path for a reason, and that is something to remember for coming in September. That all will be revealed to you, and you'll see where you've been heading. While sometimes it may be seen scary, for others it may be seen bright. One thing for sure, this will test your patience this week. You will all have limits, and these will be tested and pushed. Limits will be pushed. But then you'll also have aspirations and joys coming into your life. People from the past returning, and the odd thoughts coming into your brain or mind where you haven't thought in ages will come back. Ideas will come floating back to you, and this could be a chance to looking at old ideas and to working on them again and getting ready to launch them coming up in June, even in July. We wish you all the best for the week ahead, and we do hope that you are peaceful, but just be aware, for people are planning other things that you cannot see yet, and there'll be snippets coming out with these plans. You just need to be wise and see if you can see them. For those who can see what is happening and is coming are those who are awake, and those who are asleep will never be able to see until everything just hits right in front of their face, which by then might be too late. Okay, so let's do some the 4 cards. See here. What am I gonna do? Which cards? One, this one. Okay. Let's have a look here. I need to sneeze. Sorry. Okay. Card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4. Okay, let's have a look here. So I got here card number 1, which is here. This week for you, you might be wanting some helping hand. I do feel like patience is the key for you this week, but it's like you are needing some help, whether this be spiritual help or spiritual guidance or actually help from someone. You need to take the help that is being provided to you, that is being offered to you. I feel like it's very important because you can't do it all by yourself, because the mountain is too high to go on by yourself. There is something that's really blurry that you're really not understanding, or you can't see its full potential, but by the end of the week it is a lot clearer for you to see what this situation is. There is a lot of heaviness energy too, and I feel like there is a lot of worry or stress, but the burden will be eased. I feel like by the end of the week there's a burden that's eased here. Card number 2, which is this card here. With this card here, it's complicated. There are complicated thoughts, actions here. People not seeing eye to eye and quite frustrated. You need someone that's going to be of a neutral ground to help you sort out these arguments or this whatever's going on here. Patience are tested, but you're not seeing eye to eye, and you're not listening to each other too. There is a grace period on Wednesday where I feel like it's a time out, but you guys need to, it's a thing of coming back together again, or starting from the beginning as well. But I feel like the third person needs to be who's not anyone's side, who's on neutral ground, who have a better idea or better understanding of where things are going. This is not a week to be scared or to be nervous. It's a week to show a lot of courage for you. Here, this one here is business stepping up. It's going to be more business, like someone's going away, asking you to step up, take over things here. It is going to be a busy week. You are going to want some freedom, some release, but it's like an opportunity for you to show people what you're made of, what you've got. Take this chance and go with it. I do feel we're also questioning, our own path, where we're going, our own career. We want something that's more. We also want something that's very stable and secure, and we're sick of being sort of messed around as well with this card. You are on the right path, and you are trying to be very, very settled too. And this is the fourth card. With this card here, you're not listening to anyone else. You're only listening to yourself, your self-intentions. There are thinking about money, how busy you are, what you can get done. There is a lot of things going on in your mind this week. You can't stop thinking about certain things, and it's not easy. You're also being very intuitive. It is a week of having to research and do a lot of study as well. I feel there is some there, a guidance, someone there that's giving you guidance, but you're too busy listening to your own self than to listen to them. But there will be a lot of product, like a lot of stuff to be done this week. You are very busy. You are trying to be very secured, but you're also using your networks. You're being very wise, but you're also being very stubborn. But you're following your heart. You're following your heart this week as well with this card. So like I said, I have started a podcast. I put the link into the YouTube community page, my channel, so go there if you want to view the podcast. This is an hour long, but it's quite interesting. I had my feedback from a friend. She listened to it and she said it was really interesting. The person who I did it, so I'm sharing a store with them at the MBS in next month, also in a couple of weeks time, sharing a store with them at a different fair that's happening in the cruise terminal at Rozelle here in Sydney. I got the paperwork to start trying to organise this event for a platform night, so I'm trying to work on that too. And I'm also today hoping to film my horoscope for Prince Charles as well, looking into that. And I feel like knowledge is the key for this week. Knowledge will be the key for this week. But yeah, I think that it from me, from what I'm doing. But thank you for your likes, shares and your comments, and I will see you for my next video. So bye for now.